Third player. See her here, Hella Simonsen. And as usual, this game is the team is skipped by Lennon Nelson.
And here is our standings. Only a couple of teams got, in fact, only one team got to 2 wins yesterday, but still plenty of undefeated teams so far this week. See Russia having mixed fortunes yesterday. Well, Italy and China going to need to do a little bit better today. So just 2 games out there this morning. Of course, our featured game between Japan and Denmark, and just next door, United States and Germany. We will try and give you some updates as we go along on their progress. Japan are going to be playing the red stones and wearing the dark blue tops, and Denmark will be playing the yellow stones and wearing the white tops. So Sander, we got a look at the Danish team yesterday against the Chinese. What sort of game plan do you think they might come into this game with?
Well, I think you might see Japan play a bit defensive and open, and they do execute the simple shots quite well. So you might see Denmark need to put some stones in play, be a bit aggressive, but you know, still leave a forfeit draw for Lennon Nelson to bail them out if it doesn't quite go well. As we see Maria Poulsen lead for Denmark. They will start a bit defensive here, it seems, but I think you'll see the Danes put a couple stones in play if they don't quite get their points early on in the game. We saw them yesterday against China, just picked up a couple of points. Didn't really have to be too aggressive. But we might just see some blank ends here.
Shaki Matsumura. Sander, was there anything in particular that really impressed you about the Danish team yesterday?
Well, they didn't really have a tough opponent in China yesterday, but they certainly did play a lot of good shots. Seemed to stay focused, even though they had that 10-0 lead after 5 ends. Seemed quite solid. And certainly think they're going to be confident today with that big win over them yesterday.
Yeah, though, it would be the perfect start this week if Denmark could do the Pacific double. Maria Poulsen doesn't quite manage to stick the shooter on that occasion. And here's Emi Shimizu.
I think Japan will be quite happy to play an open game.
I think you're absolutely right in suggesting what their game plan is, Sander. I think it's definitely in their interest to kind of limit the amount of stones in play. Not get too involved. Generally, the European nations are a little bit more experienced tactically than the Pacific ones, though they are, of course, catching up all the time. See Shanna Ellegard. Available to them. Yeah, I seem to remember one year at the juniors I was playing against China and just about ran them out of time in 8 ends. didn't really know what to do because there were so many stones in play.
Were these the bronze finals you talk about?
No, it was during the round robin. So there's a really defensive first hand.
It was certainly something I saw at the World Juniors, the men's Chinese team and the women's, the Japanese team for the women's, just were able to play a bit defensive and winning games that way, not really being pressured by anyone. Certainly do throw the stones quite well, and they'll make a lot of the simple shots. Their technique's pretty good.
Absolutely, they spend a lot of time on the ice working on technique for sure. I don't think the Japanese have quite the same resources as the Chinese, especially the women's team. They spend a lot of time in Canada, I know. Betty Wang.
Ella Simonsen here, third for Denmark. She'll just be faced with the open hit. Doesn't seem to be a problem. Stick around.
Based on yesterday's play, Sander, do you think there's anything that the teams need to be aware of when it comes to the ice conditions?
I haven't really spoken to too many of the players regarding the ice yet. Looks to be pretty good. I know the ice makers are quite happy with the cold weather, which means that it might just be a bit tricky to start off with because they can't clip the ice too much. But certainly did seem like the ice was pretty keen and swingy. But we did see even Scotland and Canada yesterday struggle a bit with their draw weight, so I'm not sure quite why that is. Maybe just early in the week. Just need a game or two to ease in.
I think the ice is actually just a fraction slower than what a lot of the teams are used to. I think that's maybe what's catching them out. And of course, early in the week, the ice is still a little bit green. Takes a little bit of time to bed in. Needs a And Lena Nielsen, long-term skip of this team.
So again, the open hit left for Satsuki Fujisawa. She skipped the World Juniors 2009 Vancouver, and she'll be looking to make it back to an Olympic arena Sochi next year.
Yeah, of course, we spoke a lot yesterday, Sander, about the importance of good performances this week from some of the teams lower in the table. All important Olympic qualification at stake. And currently the top 7 associations of in the Olympic table will qualify directly for the Olympics. Russia will also qualify as the host nation. and another 2 teams will come from the Olympic qualification event, which will be in December. So not much to talk about in the first end. It is a blank, and perhaps the ice getting up to speed now.
Is there any difference in playing a morning game? There's only 2 games out there. It's really quiet. You're maybe a bit tired still, or
I certainly think there's quite often a difference in the ice conditions. Maybe just a little bit colder outside early in the morning, and the ice can definitely be a little bit slicker. So the teams might just have to keep an eye on that as we go along.
So as expected, Denmark has now put up that corner guard. We're looking to score a couple of points. And Japan, with that first stone being in the back of the house, they're just going to come in again. And Maria Poulsen here really got to make sure to stick around. If you ever roll out here, I think you might just see Japan just clip the corner guard.
Absolutely, it was a good confident call though, going with the corner guard early on. And as you suggested, Sander, really important when you're trying to bring a corner guard into play that you make those hit and sticks. As soon as you make a roll out, then the team without the hammer are probably just going to peel the corner guard off. Don't want to get sucked in around that. There's not too much benefit in doing that.
So it doesn't quite make the roll, but it sits for shot. And if you would see Japan roll out here, maybe, like they are, almost jamming on that in the back actually. They will now leave the draw for Denmark, because obviously there's no risk now with that red stone being at the back of the house. Not sure if you can get shot fully buried here, but again, it's fully open. No real risk coming around the guard here.
Did you like this call, Sander?
Oh yeah, definitely. There's no reason to make a play on that red zone.
Yeah, I think the great thing here for Denmark at the moment is that it's really low risk to go around the corner guard. They've got nothing really troubling them on the centre line at the moment.
So it doesn't quite make the draw around, but I think you'll see Japan now play to come round. So you're going to leave a couple of stones in play, that's for sure. We talked about leaving the forfeit open for that last draw for Len and Nelson if the end doesn't pan out the way they want. So far they've done that, so they can afford to be a bit aggressive. Makes a nice draw here. Maybe a bit deeper than they were looking for, but stays in front of the T line.
Yeah, but did they ever take advantage of that miss? Really nice draw. And the problem with that shot by Denmark there really shrinks the scoring area for them by rolling into in between the forfeit lines.
Look for a run back here. Straight run back. Could potentially. Yeah, well, run, can't stick it, leaves a guard in front. So same draw again here for Japan.
So same draw again here for Japan. Not quite as good as the last time. I see Lasse Larsen. So much experience on the bench for Denmark this week. Of course, long-term third of Ulrik Schmidt. Doesn't curl competitively anymore, but taking good care of the future of women's curling in Denmark by looking after Team Lena Nielsen.
Yeah, made it to the European final on 3 occasions, although losing out on those 3 occasions. So 3 European silvers and a bronze medal.
Can tell you that is the Japanese coach there, hiding. Hatomi Nagoka. Okay, so with that miss by Helle Simonsen, Japan now really starting to get the play onto the centre line. Well, the guard's on not that tight. It's only really halfway up the free guard zone, so it should be enough curl to come around it. But Denmark playing it a little bit safe and trying to peel the guard. I think that's really good. Then they may be able to catch the one at the back of the 8-foot as well. How does the run back look? Clears that stone off the centre line, but now Japan with a chance to come around and sit for 3 in the second end.
Yeah, so this is kind of the approach I thought Japan would take. Not making any, taking any risks and just waiting for a couple of mistakes from Denmark to put some pressure on them. And that's exactly what they've been able to do here. So, pretty much as expected, Denmark will trying to put some stones in play, but when they don't make the shots, they're going to face a bit of trouble. So, going to make sure to keep that 4-foot open. And let's draw here. And going to pull up short. Just going to nibble the rings, I think. But certainly wanted that one deeper. And now you come around the center guard.
Well, they could come around the centre guard. They could hit the winger and roll in front of the back one. Even still, if that front one's actually biting the rings, then it would be a very straightforward force for Japan. So I think they will just try and hook one around everything, Sander, like you said.
Looking pretty close for this one. Just can't get the line, apparently.
Well, they need to make sure they're lying in shot position, though. Actually, just hangs in there.
Yeah, that's not too bad, I guess. I think you might just see Japan come down onto the yellow and tap it, and then you're left with that same draw to score. If Japan ever would like to just come straight around the center guard here, maybe just half open, you'll be able to play a tap for 2.
Well, there's certainly lots of room for error here, Sander. They could come down onto that yellow stone. You can see about half of it from the hack, and they just really need to get it out of the 8-foot circle to make the force.
Yeah, so I'm not quite sure what the initial call here is here. Maybe they're looking for the straight draw, but it's easy to put a bit too much weight on this one, knowing you have that backing, knowing that's an option. Certainly looks like they're playing the straight draw here.
Yeah, Supers are really going to have to go to get this one down there.
I think the weight's pretty good. Can it swing enough to be buried? Not quite. Let's see here. Lena Nelson lying second shot. How much can she see of that? Stone just played by Fujisawa. Maybe not too much.
Japanese sweepers just needing a moment to catch their breath. There's a really big effort to drag that one around the center there. Oh.
I guess the problem is playing the tap. Kind of tricky to stick your shooter in a second shot position. Should be there though.
Well, they could just play the quiet tap, Sander, or they could try and catch their shooter on the wide red. But the key is just to make sure they get that red out of there, really. And that yellow on the centre line at the back of the house would count as shot stone.
Looking at the ice, I think maybe they're playing bumper weight, controlled weight. Tightening up the ice though, so let's see what they're going for. So a bit of a finesse shot required from Lena Nelson here. Could really set the tone for the game for her. Making a good one here. She's certainly a type of player when she starts making a couple of good shots, she'll play very well, and that's a very good try. Not sure if it's enough though. I think maybe just rolled a couple of inches too far. And it is going to be 1 yellow. So a nice attempt. Just couldn't quite pull it off. Did the most important thing though, however, and has scored 1. I think it is important for them to just not let Japan hit the scoreboard first. So we're back in the Volvo Sports Centre here in Riga, Latvia. Third end now. Lennon Nelson had quite that back. The score 2 just rolled a bit too far. But still a lead for the Danes. And Japan needs to maybe put some stones to play and score. It'll be interesting to see if they're just looking to keep it open for a few ends more, but start just continue to play open, waiting for a simple mistake from their opponents and then maybe just pushing on further too, but really going for it here. So corner guard in place, maybe a bit too far away from the rings, still usable. I think you'll see the tight centre guard from Maria Poulsen here.
Sander, how, obviously we talk a lot about playing to the scoreboard and trying to score in the even ends. How early do you think you should start considering that in a game?
I think don't really have to think about that too much until maybe the second part of the game. Maybe sixth end is early enough.
Okay, so from your point of view, the corner guard's the right call here in the third end.
Yeah, just go for it 2 here. There's plenty of opportunities to make sure you get to score in the even ends in this second part of the game. Certainly couldn't just play the hit as Denmark came into the rings, but I guess Japanese are not going to be as patient as some other teams. If you play the scoreboard right from the first few ends.
It's definitely a consideration, Sander. I think maybe this part of the game, then I might be tempted to play just a hit in the third end. Take hammer into the fourth. Maybe something you'd need to worry a little bit less about in the second half. I don't think there's a right or wrong answer in this situation. I was just interested to get your thoughts on it. So Japan have wrecked on the guards here and really covered a lot of the forefoot circle with those guards, make it difficult to draw in there. Okay, so it looks like it'll be a run back for Japan.
Option B, if they overcurl here, might get the double.
Yeah, it might even be a better result for them. Oh,
actually he needed to curl a fraction more to make it perfect, but gets rid of the shot stone. Not too bad then. Be a bit nervous here. 3 red guards, a couple of corners.
How much more difficult does it make it to make a good draw when the guard's so tight to the rings?
Well, with this ice being that swingy, it shouldn't be too difficult. You can still pass the guard by a good margin to still make it. We're just going to take a look at Andreas Schöpp's last one here against USA. The only other game going on in the arena today, next to our game between Japan and Denmark. Andreas Schöpp looking for the double apparently, and just going to manage to score one there. Oh, back to your question, I think. Obviously the draw will be more difficult with the stones being tied to the rings, but sometimes if the guard's too long, it's actually a bit harder, because it might just overcurl and pop out on the other side, and certainly will be a less effective be a lot more room for your opponent to come around. So I think the teams are quite used to playing draws around tight centres. Just gotta get the line and weight right. Is it simple as that?
Just. Okay, so a nice freeze there by Japan. And Denmark forced to try and follow that one down.
Looking good so far.
Oh. Great sweeping there by Maria Poulsen, drags that one down into the forefoot. And Denmark really taking the initiative here in the third end with this draw by Helle Simonsen. Just finds a super position. Stays in front of the tee line and in shot position. And I think the guard might have to go back here. A good shot there by the Japanese. Rips that stone out the top of the forefoot. Nice shot there.
Yeah, it moves the guard as well now, so Denmark can't come around the guard and lie shot.
Did pretty well to get across the top of that back stone too.
So I think again, just enough to sit shot, but doesn't quite get the line. That was nowhere close.
Yeah, that's a terrible result for the Japanese. Doesn't really change the situation at all. Now Denmark have a real chance here to lock things up. Well, they're looking at tap up, so that says to me that maybe the red stone at the back of the forefoot is lying short stone. They probably could still throw a guard at this point. I think it maybe throw a guard here and still forces Japan to play the peel to make sure they can get another one in there. We'll see how this one works out for Lena Nielsen.
Pretty close here. We'll tap it up for shot, that's for sure.
Well, it was a really good shot, Sander, but this was always the worry. You could play a good shot and there would still be a chance, really, for the Japanese. Just a short raise, really.
Gotta catch that second one so thin, though, to not jam it.
I'm not sure. I think you could touch that red on the way past and it would probably still catch in the back yellow. Could drag towards it a little bit. Maybe. So, Fujisawa So yeah, this one works out. Gives it a little bit of hot sauce on the end there. Give it some speed.
Was just enough to stick around there.
And you didn't believe me, Sander. Yeah, absolutely nails this one. So that was the problem for Lena Nielsen. A really nice tap up, but still always leaving that opportunity. And now she will have to make a good double or a hit and roll to just keep the Japanese to a single score.
So they try and go for the slash double here instead of the nose hit.
Yeah, I think if you only play the nose hit double, then you're gonna be wide open. It's gonna be a blank end. But maybe if you can play it across the top, roll in behind the cover, then you might be able to force Japan to score here in the third end. All the same, I think Denmark will be quite happy to make the double. Oh, super shot by Lena Nielsen.
Yeah, that's the best she could do. Double and roll. That was exactly what she was going for.
Terrific play here by the young Danish skip. Picks both reds and rolls behind the cover and leaves Japan with nothing but a draw to the 8 foot for one. So immediately down with the brushes again here. And Ichikawa, the third, coming out to give this one some extra attention.
Looks to be in control though. We'll slip into the top of the four. And it's one for Japan. All tied up after 3 ends.
Some of the Japanese support up early this morning here in the Volvo Sports Centre in Riga. This is draw. Denmark took part in the first draw against China. Matsumura playing 74% for all shots this week. So this looks like it might be a race around the center, trying to make that hit and roll. And first team to make that hit and roll perfect behind the guard will really take the advantage in this end. Well, I'm sure Emi Shimizu has found better form in her career. Just playing 64% so far this week. Probably need to ramp those numbers up a little bit, especially when they come to play against some of the bigger forces like Russia, Scotland, Canada, Sweden. Shana Ellegard, on the other hand, really playing some good stuff early in this 2013 Women's Worlds. 86%. And makes the hit and stick here in the fourth end. Going for the big roll here. Doesn't quite get over there, but a nice shot there by the Japanese second. The only other game out there this morning is between the United States and Germany. Both teams winning their first draw. And Germany currently leading by 1-0. This is Erica Brown, the American skip, forced to draw the forfeit for one. See Germany just having a stone chewing into the 12-foot there, in behind the cover, forcing the one there. So nice draw there by USA, and 3 ends played. That's 1 each between USA and Germany. Mio Ichikawa playing 77% for the week. And a super top back here. That one was no gimme. Simonson also making a good start, playing 83% in the championship. So Sander, obviously Japan wanted to generate some offense here. Would you agree that this just hasn't really worked out for them because their very first stone in the end didn't get into exactly the right spot?
Yeah, so just not being able to put the right stones in place to start off with, and then pretty much left with nothing. And then more long centre guards. Even if they come around, the Danes will easily be able to come around with a soft weight and remove it.
Yeah, absolutely. If they want to force Denmark to score one or maybe even get a steal on the board, then they will need to get their centre guards a little bit tighter to the rings.
Might not be a bad thing though to let Denmark blank the fourth end. You can maybe force Denmark to take the 1 and 5th. You'll have Hammer in the even 6th end.
Well, Sander, certainly more and more the best teams are really taking this seriously. The whole scoring in the correct ends thing and really pushing hard to give themselves the best opportunity at the end of the game to win. You will see
not fully buried, and with that centre guard again being that long, should be pretty straightforward task for Lennon Nelson. Certainly a bit more difficult than an open hit. Could just force an error from the skip, but she's looking pretty solid so far, so you'd expect her to make this one. 78% so far after one game and 3 ends.
Oh, you'd expect this one to be easy after the double takeout she made in the last end and roll behind cover. Well, it's got a little bit of work to do here, Sander.
Yeah, will it be enough to remove the red? Oh, not sure. Oh, just enough. Good thing the houses are so keen. Not sure if that would slip out on their home rink.
Yeah, the stones seem to be pretty lively too.
Is that something teams need to adapt to as well? Stones being so lively, you might get more action on them. More action than you would get back home in your practice rink.
Yeah, it definitely is. One thing amongst many that at the start of the week they need to learn to deal with. They need to learn the ice conditions, the different paths, the stones, not just the running of them, but like as you say, how they react in the houses. Different striking bands react differently, and these ones seem to be really quite bouncy, and maybe just need to hit stones a little bit thicker than they're used to make certain rolls. The great thing for us though, that with the stones being so lively, we will see some fantastic shot play throughout the week, some really big shots possible because of that. To be honest, there's nothing really worse than playing with stones that are really dead and they don't spring and you can't make any double takeouts, but we shouldn't have that problem this week. Lena Nielsen not having to make any takeouts with her last stone, nothing in the house, and she'll just throw that one away and keep the last stone going into the 5th end. 4 ends played here, and it's Japan 1, Denmark 1.
So we just saw Lena Nielsen throw her last stone through, same way she did in the very first end. Just Japanese skip Fujisawa not being able to stick around and make her play that shot to blank it. I think it's quite important to stick around. I think you often see skips miss that blank shot. But so as mentioned, tied up after 4, 1 each. Are you surprised that Denmark is putting up a corner guard in the fifth end with Japan coming into the house? Would it not be maybe a nice chance to just play the hit, maybe blank the end, and as we've talked about, try and score in the even ends?
Yeah, absolutely, Sander. I think this is really when you need to start taking it seriously. The whole idea of what ends you're scoring in, you can really take control of the game just by scoring in the correct ends, especially when it's as tight as it is. You could just run through this fifth end and take the last one into the sixth. And then in theory they would force in 7 and 9, and they would have hammer in the 10th end.
Yeah, the good thing about if you blank this end and you score in the 6th, or if you blank this end, you allow yourself to have hammer 3 times and your opponent only twice. That's a big advantage. If you score here, you allow the opponent to have a last stone as many times as you. So could be a good thing to blank here. But we will get some stones in play. Don't really mind though. It's a lot more fun to watch some stones in play rather than a blank hand.
Yeah, and an aggressive call here, choosing to ignore the stones in the centre line and going round the corner. Maybe see this is a good chance with that red stone that first red stone not being in a perfect position at the top of the forefoot. Looks like a super draw here from Maria Paulsen. Doesn't manage to set the shot stone, but that one will be really useful later on.
Yes, maybe just doing what we talked about before the game started, that might just want to put some stones in play and make Japan think a wee bit for some tactical errors maybe. Feel like they want to go for a big end, while Japan probably is just looking to keep this game tight.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're probably playing the right shot here. They don't really have too much to be aggressive with at the moment. They don't have any stones in the centre line. So just going to open up that shot stone. And if they could roll to the centre line, it could be pretty useful too.
Well, that's a nice option.
Yeah, it wasn't necessarily the elected shot, but I'm sure they'll take that result.
So those guards are in a bit of a tricky spot for Lena Nelson. Really blocking off both the in and out turn draw to the 1 foot. But centre line is open. So looking for a hit and roll here. Jana Elgar, she's had a good start to the week. So let's see if she can continue here with a nice hit and roll. No, she's going to catch the guard. Will she maybe spin into the house here? Will just twist at the end? No, not quite. It's probably the way to miss that shot though. Catching the guard rather than running straight through it. So Japan's gonna call a center guard here.
Absolutely the right call here. For me, from the Japanese, they really want to push hard here to try and force here in the 5th end.
Pretty much going to be in the same spot as the previous guard. But this time not going for the hit and roll. I thought she maybe would be able to see enough of it. Maybe not.
Yeah, I think maybe Lena Nielsen starting to realize that she should be trying to blank here in the 5th.
Might just be a bit too late for that though, Logan.
Absolutely, they've got that corner guard sitting there available to them.
Yeah, I would It's available for Japan too. Meaning if, with their last stone, if it's an open house, they could come around the corner guard and force Lynn and Nelson to sector 1. So there should be plenty of options for, or plenty of opportunities for the Japanese to force Lynn and Nelson to take a 1 here in the 5th. Again, they'll just call the center guard. Looking to just cross the center line. Looks pretty good. Well, kind of long. I think the run is maybe a bit audacious right now. Well, she maybe look to come around it, play the hit and roll. Looking to come around the corner guard.
Yeah, it seems to me like Lena Nielsen can't really make her mind up what she wants to achieve in this end. So like, if it was me out there and I was the Danish team, I think this end would be over by now and would be starting the 6th end. Hella Simonsen sending down some big weight here. Don't think she's going to make the double with this one. And rolls over to another corner. So, doesn't quite manage that one. Well, Japan are certainly doing the simple things well at the moment. Getting their guards in the right spot. Seem to know this path pretty well now. Nishikawa makes another perfect guard. Looks like they're going around the corner here. I'm surprised they're not actually trying to bump this red through. I think they can maybe see an edge of it, and there's certainly enough curl on the ice to get around onto it.
And if you clip the guard, you might even be able to move the guard and even maybe roll in. A couple of options playing that shot. Now this draw looking a bit pacey. It's going to slip to the back for second shot. Not sure if Japan is willing to let that one stick around though. But with it lined second, should be no risk in maybe coming after it. Don't really need to be all the way down onto it, do you? Just probably stay in front of the T line with this one.
Well, I think with the guard being so long as well here, Sander, they could even just try and come bump this. I think if they are playing the draw here, then freeze might be the best option.
Most important thing here though is just the light too. And wow, that's actually gonna over curl and catch the guard. Big miss from the Japanese skip. Still a long shot though, however. But might just leave Lennon Nelson a chance to score two. Come around the centre.
It actually wasn't a terrible miss by rolling onto the centre line, but and I don't think that Yellowstone in the back of the 8th is going to come into play now. But it does give Lena Nielsen this opportunity to come around the centre and maybe even score two. So Lena Nielsen's found a nice line here. How's the weight? A little bit deep, but at least poses a question of the Japanese skip.
So certainly a good chance for Fujitama to force here. Seems to be maybe slightly wider than Lennon Nelson. Will sit on the high side, but I do believe that's good enough.
Yeah, really good weight there by the Japanese skip. Maybe we could have left the sweeping just a little bit longer there. Good confident sweepers can really leave it to the last minute to sweep it and make it curl at the end. Could have got that one right to the nose and hidden behind the guard. You do all the brushing at the end, then you can get the maximum effect on the running stone. So there could be a little bit of backing here for Lena Nielsen.
Maybe just a bit tight on line here. Looks to be heavier than T-line though. Well, just gonna pass the guard, but will it over curl? Nope, that's gonna be enough for one.
Yeah, super draw there by Lena Nielsen. And it's half time here in draw 3 of the Glacier. The Titlis Glacier Mountain World Women's Curling Championships 2013. Draw 3, Japan and Denmark. Denmark leading Japan by 2 shots to 1.
Let's take a look at the highlights here. Second in, it's Lena Nielsen with her last stone. Looking to potentially score 2 here. Will remove the red. Just rolls a bit too far though. And it's only going to be 1 point for the Danes. And the second. Skip ahead to the third end. After a really nice double and roll from Lennon Nelson. Fujisawa is only left with the 8-foot draw to score. Some team effort to bring this redstone down, but makes it to the top of the 4. And it's all tied up after 3. 4th end is blanked in the 5th. Fujisawa makes a really nice freeze, only really leaving this 1-foot draw for Lennon Nelson to score. Looks to be in control early on, but bit of a panic to get it through and past the guard. Almost over-curling the red shot, but will make contact and sit nicely on the 1-foot to score. After 5 ends, Denmark leads the game 2 shots to 1. Meanwhile, we have United States playing Germany on the sheet just next to ours. 5th end highlight, you'll see the scoreboard. 1 each after 4. And it's Andrea Ship left with an open hit to score 1. With some help from sweepers Corinne Schultz and Stella Heiss. They are able to keep that one straight and will stick around. And score 1 for Germany. They lead the game 2 shots to 1 after 5 ends. So same score lines for both games. 5-minute break after 5 ends. Get the chance to snack and have a drink, and obviously talk to their coach, alternate, team leader, whatever staff they might have brought to Riga. And now we're closing in to the 6th end. About 45 seconds left of this 5-minute break. And it will be Denmark to start off the 6th end. Certainly some support for the Japanese. Not too many people in the arena this morning. It's all pretty quiet. Certainly we only have 2 games, so maybe less fans of that reason. Home nation favourites, Latvia, obviously not playing. But sometimes it's nice to have a break from the audience. We see the stats here. After 5 ends, it's Japan outscoring Denmark by 4%. It's probably what we kind of expected to see Japan probably make all the shots as long as they're left the easy task.
Yeah, absolutely. The Danish team haven't really done what we said they probably should try to do, and that's to try and make the Japanese players play with lots of stones in play and make some really tough technical shots. Just not managed to do that so far, not managed to get their front end stones in the right spots so far. This is Chiaki Matsumura playing lead for Japan, having a nice game at 83% so far today.
Yeah, I think you want to see Denmark put some stones in play. I'm not sure if they should be doing it without hammer though. I think you want to be a bit careful, because Japanese girls really, as they've done so far and as we've said, they do the simple things well. If you miss a few shots without hammer, you might just give up 2 or 3. But certainly put the center guard on, but be a bit cautious and be a bit more aggressive with the hammer. I think 78% for Maria Paulsen. Decent numbers, but you want to just creep over that 80% mark, I think, as a lead player. I think the best ones would probably play above 90% for the entire week. Still many games to go though for Maria. Well, that's a really nice tight center guard, although that first one probably be nice to have at the top of the floor. Lines him up quite well. And Japan's actually going to play a hit here. You're not allowed to remove the center guard from play, but if you jam it on the second yellow, that's allowed.
Yeah, this kind of shot's all about the weight. Just going to try and chip the center guard and maybe roll in behind the corner.
Yeah, okay, so not a big weight here, just as you said, chipping off it. Well, make contact. It does slide to the wing, so it's a pretty decent shot there.
Yeah, super shot there by the Japanese lead. Opens up that center line and makes the roll over towards the corner.
Yeah, just a shame that that corner guard ended up so far away, and both from the house and the center line. Still usable, but makes the rolls so much longer to make. Jan Elgar, 81%. Good start as mentioned, and here she'll make a nice hit and roll. Just looking to roll out apparently.
Choosing to hit the wide one here. Amy Shimizu having a much better game today. Raising her game after a mediocre game yesterday, playing 64%, shooting 87 today. Oh, and another perfect shot by the Japanese second. And the Danes needing to tread a little bit carefully here. So going back to this idea of playing the scoreboard, Sander, Denmark, you would think probably in the sixth end without the hammer, they don't want any sort of score. They probably want a blank end.
Well, they could steal, but they're not really in the spot to do that at the moment. So I think maybe the call is to peel the corner guard here and try and make Japan blank. We're looking for the top here. Just can't get the line. Nicely skipped by Lennon Nelson though to drag it past the top red. Now they sit two. So not terrible for Denmark. But if you just slip up, you might see Japan be able to use that corner guard. But so far pretty open. Best result for Denmark is would probably be to let Japan blank the send. Not sure what direction Lennon Nelson is taking this end though.
Yeah, I think a little bit of work needs to be done in the strategy here. Just doesn't seem to be a huge amount of consistency in the thinking, and certainly if I was giving this team some advice, it'd be to have a clear goal for the end, know what you want to achieve, and follow your game plan through for the end based on that. At the moment, it seems to be a little bit back and forth. So not a good shot here by Hella Simonsen.
Just had a wee bit of a wobble coming at the hack. It's not the first time. Just looks a bit unsteady coming out. Did all day yesterday. Maybe just needs to work a bit with her balance, her slide. Well, Miyu here looking pretty pretty much perfect. Perfect coming at the hack. No problems at all. Just allows you to focus on throwing the stone. Doesn't quite get the freeze, but they've all said two.
Så man kunne godt gå med hen rundt. Du vil ikke lave ram og rull? Har du noget? Ja, en fjerdedel. Nej, det kan jeg ikke. Ja, ja. 9 her. 10 her.
Well, Seamson only playing 71% today, and of course, that doesn't include her miss in this end. But maybe she'll make up with it, up for it with a good hit and roll here. Jams on the wide yellow. Will it be shot position? It will not. Now Japan have the chance to split the rings, and that's what they will do. I mean, it's not really a shot play problem. I mean, they're not quite getting their stones in the right spots, the Danes, but just the game plan seems a little bit inconsistent for me. Fujisawa not mucking about here, out to help the sweepers. Really big scrub by the Japanese team here. Needs to get it to touch the 8 foot. I won't go far enough to lie to. A huge miss there by Ichikawa. But still, Denmark with some work to do.
Jeg kan ikke lide det, den kan efterlade. Hvad siger I? Det går lige skråfryset. Den er jeg egentlig ikke så meget til. Nå, hvis hun kan få dem begge to ud og ramme med ind. Det vi står og taler om, der man kan godt prøve at skyde til det. Problemet er, hvis jeg ikke får den der ud helt. Ja. Jeg kan ikke lige se vinglerne. Hvad siger du? 11,5.
Doesn't look to be a very difficult shot. The intern hack weight tapped the red one through. Maybe she'll realize that shot looks a bit easier from the hack. Looks like she could probably see half of it.
Vi gør, hvad jeg vil sige. Nej, det er det ikke. Nu du ligger 2, og hun ikke selv kommer ind med den. Nå, det var ikke...
94% for Lennon Nelson so far.
Yeah, world-class shooting by the Danish skip so far today. Another good shot here to stop Japan from scoring a deuce. Actually really difficult to make this shot and to lie to. Just hung a straight bit there, and I don't think Lena Nielsen can quite believe that.
I wonder if it was possible to maybe sweep that one past the yellow, take the red one. Certainly wasn't going to make enough contact with the yellow.
It's a tough, tough shot. didn't actually pass the guard by a huge amount. I don't know if that was maybe more of a weight issue than a line issue. Clearly, Shanna Ellegard thought that was going to curl when she called the sweeping on. Here's Fujisawa playing 76%, and they're getting another chance to split the rings here.
Well, again, maybe a bit shy in weight. No, they're going to drag this one nicely down to the tee line. I think maybe just able to hide the inside of it. Don't want to allow Denmark to play the hit and roll. Big team scrub to get this one down. And it's pretty much edge to edge, I think, those two reds. Don't think you want to play around with the top red too much. Just going to make sure to hit the red one. So I wasn't quite able to curl enough with her first attempt. Playing the opposite turn. And no problem from the Danish skip. Hits and sticks, but leaves Japan to score the first deuce of the game in the sixth end.
Would you agree that it would probably be a well-deserved lead, Sander?
Yeah, I think so. I think they made a lot more shots. The Danes have been a bit more sloppy and have made a couple of tactical errors, I think. They could probably avoid this deuce if they just peeled the corner guard earlier in the end. I think Japan's looking really strong here. If they take two now, and if they could ever force Denmark to take a one in the seventh, 1 point up with one hammer more than Denmark. So, big score here for Japan. Really important, 2 points in the sixth. They're certainly favourites so far. And hopefully the Danish team won't just break apart here.
So 6 ends played here in draw 3 at the Volvo Sports Arena in Riga, and it's Japan 3, Denmark 2. Seventh end underway here at the Titlis Glacier Mountain World Women's Championships 2013. This is draw 3, Japan and Denmark, our featured game, and Japan leading Denmark by 3 shots to 2. My name's Logan Gray, and with me I have Sander Rovhag calling the shots. And giving our feelings on the game as it goes along. This is Maria Poulsen, the Danish lead player. Again, not managing to get the centre guards in the right spot. The Japanese kind of a little bit long and not particularly on the centre line. Not a very good draw there by Poulsen, doesn't make it all the way to the rings. That one rears up just short of the rings. So Sander, we've talked a lot about controlling the scoreboard, and I think we're both in agreement that Denmark haven't done a particularly good job of that so far. It is only the 7th end. What do you think they'll be trying to achieve from this end?
Well, it certainly looks like they're going for their 2 here. Might be an idea to blank this one as well. Try and score your 2 in 8th, but again, you can always try and score your 2 here and maybe try and steal in the next end.
I would certainly like to see Denmark be quite defensive in this end and really just try and clear things up and run through here in 7.
I just think it's a bit too late for that though, Logan. 3 guards. Maybe not too late, but certainly if this is their mind process, putting up guards and going for their 2, I don't think they're going to stop playing aggressive.
Big weight here from Shimizu. It's actually Denmark that decide to peel some of the guards, so maybe there is a chance to blank now, Sander.
Yeah, wiggles everything around as we hop over to sheet C. Andrea Schupp, and Germany is lying shot. Erica Brown for United States. She's looking to tap this one out. Not sure if she's trying to hit the high side or the inside of this one. But Sweeper's backing off it, looking a wee bit high. And just going to jam that one. Not quite sure what they were going for. Certainly didn't seem to be on the line call there. But will be a steal, a 1 for Germany. And you got to say, Andrea Schupp's team is looking pretty strong this week.
Yeah, you never really know which Germany team's going to turn up. You always know it's going to be Andrea Schupp, but you don't know whether it's going to be the good one or the bad one. Of course, just won the World Championships a couple of years ago.
Didn't have a great week in Karlstad and Europeans, but so much experience. Can never really write her off.
Yeah, Andrea Schupp only managing to grab the last world spot from the Europeans. Really wasn't a good week for her at all, but making a strong start here in Riga.
Yeah, just beat the reigning European champions Russia last night. But back to our game. You look a bit confused, Logan.
Yeah, I just like we've been saying all game, you really have to control the scoreboard when it's a tight game, and in the moment Lena Nielsen's just failing to do that. For me, is a chance to really minimize the amount of stones that are in play. Could have played a takeout there and give yourself the opportunity to play a simple 7th end and try and get the blank, take the hammer in the 8th and then score 2 there. That would be certainly my thinking. But they are lying shot stone here in the 7th end. So here's Mio Ichikawa setting down the big weight here. hits this one on the wrong side. Bit of an errant take out there from Ichikawa. Yeah, Lena Nielsen playing a dangerous game here. Going around the corner guard. Seems to me like they could get the same result by playing a hit and roll here and still keep that opportunity to blank alive here in the 7th end.
Yeah, well, it doesn't look like she wants to blank the end though, and if she wants to go for a 2 or 3 here, probably easier to make the draw, but again, you'll leave a stone on the center line there. Might just give you some trouble as well. But it's a really nice draw though by Hella Simonsen, and might just be able to score a couple here. You know, this is what we like to see from the Danes, but just I guess we both agree that they're not really picking the right spot to do it.
Oh, you know what, Sander, if they go and score 3 in this end, we're going to look really stupid. And they're going to be in great shape if they do that. But here's Ichikawa sending down the heater once again, trying to run this garden. Must be pretty close. Super run back. Where's the sweeper?
That was very close to making a double as well.
Yeah, it does roll out of play. And again, Denmark will choose to come around the corner guard.
So it should be pretty close here. Simonsen just playing that shot. Calling this one an 8. That would be just by the T-line. Or maybe they're calling it top 8. These teams have different ways of communicating the weight. Do you use the number system 1 to 10 for weight calls on your team, or use a normal top 12, top 4 T-line, etc.?
I think on the whole we probably use the number system, but we do have
tendency to step back to the
we
norm.
do. Well, especially we do have a slightly older member of our team who's you can't teach an old dog new tricks and all that sort of thing. So when I say older, I mean only like 33. So, but I think generally we use the number system. Yeah.
The number system would be just dividing up the whole playing area into 10 zones. 1, 2, and 3 as a guard, and then 4 through 10 in the house.
I must clarify, that's if I get any kind of communication whatsoever, then we use the number system.
Well, you maybe not get too much communication from your teammates, but the Japanese skipper certainly makes a great one for her team. So close to that guard. Wow, that's flirting a bit too much for the guard. I think she just realized she's pretty lucky to get past it. Lucky, but certainly really good to make it. Even sticks around now and might force Denmark to have to take their one. Great shot. Super double. And she'll certainly help us not look foolish in this end.
Yeah, super shot there. They look like they're really enjoying themselves out there. Certainly like the more relaxed team as well, the Japanese. Danish maybe looking a little bit more tense than it did yesterday. And there we see Japan line 2 and looking good for the force here in the 7th end.
Well, it's easy to look a bit more tense 1 down after 6 than 10-0 up after 5.
That's a given, Sander. I'll give you that one.
So it's called the in-turn draw here. If you wrap this one around, Might just still be a chance to score 2. I think taking 1 here is pretty much the last thing you want to do. But does not quite get the line here, and so that shot from Lennon Nelson, more or less just a dead duck and 8 foot for Fujisawa. Shouldn't be a problem here. Make the hit. Don't really have to even stick around here. You're already lying to it. She will not. Not a big concern though. We'll still force Lennon Nelson to make the same draw. So, you know, if this was the 8th end, it wouldn't be that terrible to take the 1 and tie things up. But now, taking 1 and 7th, we're going to be tied up and allow Japan to have hammer twice. Big edge for them. But firstly, you're going to make this draw though. Japan setting 2.
Yeah, so much of the game, the tactical side of the game, is about trying to give yourself the best possibility of winning down the stretch. And at the moment, Denmark not doing a very good job of that. It is a score of 1, and it is a tie game here. 7 ends played, and it's Japan 3, Denmark 3.
So back in action here in the 8th end. All tied up after 7, 3 each. And as expected, you'll see Denmark put up the center guard. You think they might go for a steal here? Or do you think...
I actually think a blank would be a good option here for Denmark. If they could blank this end and then go into the 9th, then make the force score 2 down 10, game.
Yeah, I certainly agree, but the problem with the blank though is Japan's throwing up the corner guards, and you know, it's just looking to be, it's going to look to score. It might just prove difficult. So they put up the center guard, and I think they might just go aggressive for the steal. So Matsumara just outplaying Paulsen by 6%. Not a big difference in numbers, but maybe just a little edge for Japan here at leads. now that's an intern draw. I think she's going to pull up short. 2 centre guards now for Denmark.
Well, maybe they are going for the steal, as you suggested, Sander.
Well, they're looking to come around the guard, though, but well, they maybe have to go for it. Can't really allow Japan to score an easy deuce here. I think you kind of have to go all out for the blank, or be a bit aggressive and put some pressure on the Japanese skip.
Well, this one's really curling hard.
Yeah, we're looking to play the top up. Not sure why they wouldn't just call the draw around.
Okay, so there's not just one game out there this morning. There's 2. USA and Germany. Germany currently leading by 3 shots to 1. Here's Erica Brown. A little bit of a shaky slide. And facing a few German yellow counters. Oh, and the sweepers are going to have to go on this one. Bit of a disaster. It's going to be a steal of 2 in the 7th end for Andrea Schoop and Germany. And 7 ends played on sheet C. It's Germany 5, USA 1.
Kind of the same thing we saw Tirensoni do last night. Surely forfeit's open, it could probably draw there.
Yeah, I think
a confident skip would just call the draw and use the sweepers in a better way.
Absolutely. I just wonder if a lot of the teams out there are just a little bit concerned. They don't really know the ice yet. Could definitely be a factor.
Well, big edge for Germany, but our feature game is pretty tight.
So Ellegard not getting her own way today. Shimizu outplaying her by 6% overall.
Same difference we had at lead position. There's that tiny edge for Denmark at the front end. We'll roll out here. Still a couple of centre guards though. Might be troubling Japan a wee bit.
Yeah, choosing to go around the centre this time. I think they're just a little bit worried that if they do put a good one around the corner guard, then Denmark might choose to ignore it and whip one around the centres.
So let's see where this one stops. Maybe just overcooked this one. Sweepers are pretty much on it. Halfway down the ice. It's going to slip to the back of the 12. Just bad weight call by the sweepers there. Had room as well.
Yeah, once again, I think it's about the sweepers just staying cool for the first half of the sheet, trying to get a grip on where the stone's going for length, and then doing all the sweeping at the end rather than at the start. So Simonsen coming around the centres and trying to make a freeze on that shot just played. So just bounces off the freeze.
Ichikawa will also outshoot her opponent by a good 12%. Double the difference of the front end. So certainly the numbers will tell you a story. Still tied up though here in this game. Comes a bit too deep, taps the elbow. Sits 2.
Really good line here. Really good weight as well. Super draw by Helle Simonsen. That could really turn around this end for the Danes. Maybe just a slight edge poking out.
Yeah, see from here. See a tiny bit of that elbow. Well, this one hanging wide though. Not really close to the elbow. Goes right past. And a golden opportunity for Denmark now. Pick up a steal in the 8th end. I think you just throw a guard here.
Yeah, they'll want to try and put this in a position that not only covers the edge of that yellow stone, but maybe even just makes that out-turn draw a little more difficult.
Men Helles anden var også ude i vende i et andet spor. Er vi enige om det? Nå, for den virkede bare anderledes. 15, 2,5 burde være godt.
Well, finds a nice spot for the guard. So I think they've wisened up here. Going to make a play on that guard, just play by Elena Nelson. Gonna make sure to move that one. Might get some other yellows flying as well, though, as we see skip numbers. Certainly Lennon Nelson's keeping Denmark in the game. Making some absolute key shots. What you go here? Double. Well, keeps the shooter around. Might just block off the out-turn draw if Denmark now just fills the gap.
Yeah, really needed to get that shooter moving a little bit further over.
Maybe Denmark tempted to come into the rings here. Top of the 8. Sit 2.
Well, if they did put a centre guard on Sander, then Japan would be pretty much forced into playing the run on that red stone just played by Fujisawa.
Yep.
And it could be a shot for 2, possibly even 3 if they got really lucky.
They are calling the center guard though.
Okay, så skulle garden have været lidt længere ind mod midten, eller hvad skulle have gjort det? Er den lang? Så gør vi det. Samme fart som før. Den er lidt længere inde, bare så jeg ved det.
So just electing the simpler of the shots, I think. Seems to have a good night. Good weight on this one. Just calling this one right in front of the house. All the way down. Just kind of cleaning it. And we'll stop in time. Nice shot by Lennon Nelson. Might just be a gap for the out-turn draw. I wonder if they'll be looking at the run back here.
I like it. I think the shot's probably the angled raise here. I don't think the draws are an easy shot at all. So I think it's pretty marginal, the level of difficulty between the 2 shots, and there's certainly a lot more reward in playing the run potentially. So
yeah, well, she just played a takeout as well. Well, looking at it now, also looking at the in-off, I think that's a more difficult shot. It's probably easier to stick it playing it, but it's really not. There's really not a good angle for it.
I'd say this is a much harder shot than the raise option. I think there's also more reward playing the raise. As I said before, if you got it really good and stuck it on that yellow, then there's a chance that you might even flick the back red and could maybe even score 3. It just needs to catch a kind of thin half of this wide red.
Well, still makeable shot here. Last on of the 8th end for Fujisawa.
Too thick, I feel. Yeah, just hits that one a little bit too thick and will roll into the 8-foot circle. That won't be enough, and it's a steal of 1 in the 8th end. A well-worked steal in the end. Super draw by Hella Simonsen, really setting them up there.
Yeah, mission accomplished for the Danes. Now they're back on track, I think.
Or maybe they even had full control all along, who knows. 8 ends played here, and it's Denmark 4, Japan 3.
Still kind of quiet here in the arena today, this morning. Only 2 games out there. And the home nation favourite Latvia is not on the ice. Maybe that's why there's not too many people in. I guess we'll see more people coming in later in the week, especially for that last playoffs weekend. But it's nice to have a quiet time as well. Relaxing. Just sit back and enjoy the game. Now, we're in the 9th end and Denmark has a 1-point lead. What would be the game plan for the teams here?
Well, certainly Japan, I think, will be looking to try and blank here in this 9th end. If they could ever get the last on advantage down 10, then they'd feel pretty good about that, having control and maybe even a chance to win the game in 10. Denmark, on the other hand, will be wanting to try and force Japan to score here in the 9th.
Now, if you're looking to blank the end, is there another spot you can put that first red in order to make that one a bit easier?
Well, absolutely. I think you'd see a lot of teams draw the wing in that position. Certainly a lot of the men's teams would. But this can work as well. So we'll see how this works out. Very much depends on the Japanese and what they're exactly trying to achieve here in this 9th end. They could be thinking, we'll just go for a 2 or 3 here. Saw Rachel Holman throw a corner guard in this spot in the 9th end yesterday. Pretty much accepting they're going to have to score and may as well try and make a 2 or a 3 out of it rather than only score the 1.
Yeah, not very easy to blank those 9th ends, especially when your opponent is doing everything to stop you in doing that. That's what you said yesterday, that the 9th end is often one of the most interesting ends of the game, because both teams are really going for what they want.
The very top teams, especially in men's competition, they'll really push hard in this situation. If they're Denmark, 9th end, maybe even throw a couple of centre guards and really try and make sure there's a score here in the 9th end. Just gives you that much chance when it gets to the 10th end when you've got the last stone.
Yeah, even if you give up 2 here, it's not terrible. You'll have last stone, 1 down. Chance to score 2 in the 10th to win the game. So
at the moment it's quite a cautious approach from the Danish, and that's maybe one of the good things about the Japanese choosing to go around the centre guard with their first one, is that it makes it difficult for the Danish to throw the double guard. So this end very much in limbo at the moment. Japan maybe with an opportunity to score 2, but not really 3 at this point. We're just going to nip back over to Germany and the States. Germany 5-1 up. Early release from Erica Brown, sending this one down with a vapor trail.
yeah, really went all out in this end to try and come back in the game, faced with a difficult shot. In off, raise. What a shot by Erica Brown.
Yeah, perhaps a little bit unlucky not to spin both of those yellows in the forefoot. Super shot to score 1 though. And USA with a lot of work to do there, trailing Germany without last stone by 5 shots to 2. Japan hits on the wing. Handy lie too. Another option might have been a freeze there on that one. Might have started to bring maybe a 3 into play by doing that.
Nice hit and roll. So hard to make those perfect.
Well, the great thing at the moment for the Danish is that all the play is in the centre of the sheet.
Pretty much just gonna hope that Japan rolls out here so they can come around the guard. Probably don't want any risk coming out around the guard with Japan line 2. Can't really give up 3 here. Now, we just get a mistake. Is it over curling? Well, doesn't quite check to the wing.
So decision time here for Denmark. Do you play the hit or do you play the freeze? I think Japan would have preferred roll to the open side there. Denmark going a little bit safe here. Obviously not wanting to bring 3 into the equation here in this 9th end. Japan looking good for scoring 2 here in this 9th end. Well, I think I just cursed poor Mio. Hits and rolls out of the rings, and certainly opportunity lost for the moment.
Yeah, this was probably what Denmark was waiting for. Now they have that chance to come around the centre.
Any reason why they're not playing the run back here, Sander?
Well, if you ever miss it, it's just an easy chance for Japan to sit 2 again. I like the draw here.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing is, even if you do make it, then there's a good chance that a blank's going to be back on the cards. Moving up 2 is not the end of the world here for Denmark. And I think they can take a little bit of risk here to try and get the force.
Really want to come in behind the guard here. Don't want to leave an open hit again. So again, just good weight by Lennon Nelson. Just not quite getting the line. Not sure if the ice has straightened up a wee bit from yesterday. Doesn't quite seem to get that big finish at the end. Maybe just due to the cold weather in the morning here. Feels a bit colder, maybe. Seems to be freezing a wee bit over there.
Yeah, it's pretty cold. Yeah, I think I would agree with that, Sander. It's maybe a little bit colder in here today.
Usually the ice tends to straighten up a wee bit if it's cold and get more curl if it's warm. Certainly, Lennon Nelson's pretty active with her release. So she won't curl as much as maybe some players. Now, what is Japan discussing here? what are the options? I would have thought that maybe just to hit and check the wing was the only shot.
Yeah, a bit dangerous to flip underneath and force Denmark into playing a freeze. And it could get forced to the one. At least if they hit and roll to the wing, then you'd expect Denmark to play the takeout and you're getting a safe 2. So certainly seems to be a little bit of confusion down there in the Japanese head.
Calling then our front end here. Looking to make a team decision.
Well, they do still have 15 minutes remaining, so enough time to discuss this. I might even want to call coach interaction and send down Mrs. Nagoka.
Looks like they've made the right call, though. Sometimes they probably discuss things that shouldn't be discussed, but in the end, it does look like they make the right call on plenty of occasions.
Yeah, well, they should know this spot as well. There's been a couple of takeouts down this line, so just a couple of shots ago, Ichikawa made a nice hit and stick here, so should feel confident about where they can put the brush to make this shot.
So, hit and roll here. It would be really nice to just roll away from the center line, allow the short hit and roll back for Len and Nelson. Really sweeping this one for Line. Backing off again. Where is this going to settle down? Not sure if they went for the inside or if that was just the option B there. In the end, doesn't quite roll in behind, which I think is good because that would allow Nelson to play the freeze.
Yeah, that would always be the trouble if they did make that flip underneath that stone at the top of the 8 foot. It would force the freeze. I think as it sits, I think we might see Lena Nelson play a takeout here.
But
maybe
no.
not. Okay, bringing a 3 ball into the equation, but if she can get this one right, then it would really turn the game in Denmark's favour. Could set up a steal or certainly a force.
Well, she pretty much played the shot with her first one. Should be close on their second stone here. Just going to make sure to make good use of her sweepers. Don't have to be perfectly frozen, I think, to force Japan to take 2 or even 1.
I think this one's having to go hard for Line Sander. Just found a slightly tighter path.
Yeah, gonna get past the top red here. She will not. Gonna crash on that one. Japan lies 2. Open draw for 3. Bit of a disaster here.
Wow.
Nothing more to say.
Yeah, it was a risky call. Huge rewards, but huge risks as well.
I can't believe that. She was so close with that first one. Maybe just tighten up the ice a wee bit, or afraid of chucking it out there.
It's probably actually one of the better ends they've called as well, and they've given up 3 in the 9th end here.
Yeah, it's all down to execution, Logan. So, big chance for Japan here. Draw. The score 3, be 2 up in the 10th.
This one doesn't look short to me. Might want to lift the brushes on this one.
Well, always looks a bit heavy from the side though. We'll see. Well, it does look a bit pacey. Where will this one stop? Will it stop in time? I don't think so. Oh, what a chance missed by Fujisawa. Lets Lennon Nilsson off the hook there. But it's good for our TV audience though, the neutral fans. Surely a tighter game now.
Yep. We've not been able to pick a winner all match. And it looks like this one's going to go right to the wire. Japan 5, Denmark 4. The 10th end underway here in draw 3 of the Titlis Glacier Mountain World Women's Curling Championships 2013. Our featured game, Japan and Denmark, is going right to the wire. Japan leading by 5 shots to 4, and Denmark have the last stone here in the 10th.
Sikkert en retning er okay. Skal vi skifte? Skift. Nej, der er rigelig fart. Wow, den er helt i. Den er næsten i 4. Jamen det må den ikke. Hold da op, den er 10. Nej, hvor den lang. Nej.
Okay, so Japan throw up a center guard. It's not really common practice when you're one up without the hammer in the 10th end. You normally see them throwing top 4 first and Denmark throwing the corner guard, but I guess one of the good things about it here is that there is no corner guards to deal with.
Maybe just lure Denmark into coming around in the centre.
Yeah, I don't think it's a terrible shot at all. It's certainly going to give them the best chance of stealing.
Well, if you play the top 4 and then saw a corner guard, wouldn't you just throw a centre guard after anyway? Or do you come into the house? Might just make it a bit too easy for Denmark to score their 2.
Well, a good shot there by the Japanese lead.
So we'll have some forfeit play here. That's not really ideal for Denmark, I think. I think it's an important thing for them to keep the forfeit open, make sure they're always able to score 1 to get the extra. Well, what's going to happen here? Looks like we're over curling. Maybe just a bit shy and weight, actually. Super tight to the guard. And it's going to rear up just before the 8th foot. Not the best spot for that stone.
I've seen that a few times with Maria's second stone. I just wonder if she might have a slow rock in there.
Well, maybe just overcompensating a wee bit with that first one being heavy.
So Shimizu. Hey, you've really got to like this if you're Japan at the moment with all this play on the centre line. Just needs to try and get something north of the T line here. Oh, super draw by Shimizu. Makes the freeze. And Denmark in big trouble here in this 10th end.
Yeah, and she knows when to fold them, Lena Nelson. It's going to pick off the centre guard here.
Yeah, not much option. We'll see the guard go back up here for Japan.
Yeah, sitting nicely for them. I might just see this a few times. The guard and then the peel. Somehow Denmark really needs to wiggle around the red stones on the 1 foot though. Just hoping for a guard to overcurl or undercurl. Did see them play these centre guards very well earlier in the game though, just time after time in the perfect spot. Let's see here. Will this settle down in the perfect spot as well? Yes, it will. I'm not sure if we'll see a missed guard by the Japanese. Have been so solid with those shots. And it might just look and seem like a simple shot, but when you're on swingy ice and you really have to make it, so easy just to overcurl it by a foot. It's a team shot really.
Yeah, and they've done well here to recognise that they need to guard the yellow rather than guard the reds on the button. I don't want to give Denmark the chance to double peel the guards.
I think Nelson was calling the run back there.
And that stone could be a bit of a pest later in the end if Lena Nielsen needs to play an out-turn draw, and it's certainly looking like the way this end might go, that might come into play.
So maybe not want to come too tight to the house here. Allow some space between the guard and the top yellow. As you'll see, Lennon Nelson probably tried the double run. So Sweeper's just backing off this one here, waiting for it to cross the centre line. And it will come dangerously close to the rings and actually slip all the way in. But the angles aren't too bad though. I think he might as well swept that one and just made sure they were angled a wee bit better, but it's not going to really matter.
Well, there's a big chance here for Denmark to open up the centre here. They'll try and hit and roll to the wing. Well, actually hits on the wrong side, but gets an okay result. Okay, so a good guard there once again by Ishikawa. But maybe this is Denmark's chance to come down and bump things around, improve the angles for them.
Men jeg kan ikke se den run back. Jeg kan blive ved med at splitte den, og så lægger hun gardet. Det får vi noget ud af. Jeg vil køre den ned efter, så du rammer der. Men så prøv det. Gini, kan du ikke lige komme herned af? Hvorfor er der ikke noget tid på vores tur?
We may get a timeout. So I think they want to call a timeout, but you'll see in the background someone's turned the TV off, so so nobody really knows how much time they have. But I think I might see a timeout called here.
Yeah, a bit more than 8 minutes left on the clock, should be plenty. Well, It's called a coach interaction now. So your clock will continue to run even if your coach comes down to talk to you, but you'll stop the clock as the coach will be allowed some walking time. But they're not going to call on their coach, Lasse Larsen. Not quite sure what the call is here. Maybe running it back to open up the forfeit. If they're wide, they might just come off their top yellow. Like that. Oh, so close. That was that was the option I was looking at. I almost made it. Could have been a great result there. Wiggle things around in the forfeit. But still Japan in the driving seat here, lying to. Very nicely angled. And again, they'll just look to throw the guard. And remember, Denmark needs to score one here to get the extra end. I think they just failed a wee bit getting drawn into the forfeit area and really closing off a chance to score their one. It's a very aggressive approach to the end. Well, this one's going to be a bit too long, I think, and it should be able to come around here and maybe come to the nose of the red, wiggle things around, and we'll see after 9 ends. It's 5 each between the United States and Germany. Just looking over there, just a bunch of stones in play in the 9th end. Surely tactical error by Shup, allowing them to leave so many stones in play when you're up by 3. I'm not sure what happened with the last shot, but USA managed to steal 3, and now it's 5 each. Germany will have hammer though, and the last end of play. Back to our sheet. With that centre guard being that long, is it possible for Denmark to come around and bump up the red ones?
Well, I would say so. Come down there, kind of back line, they attack weight, and just try and bump some of these stones back and make sure you have an opportunity to score with your last stone.
I certainly don't think you have much choice here. It'd be nice if you maybe even throw a hack weight here. Get to nose.
Well, Sandra, they're certainly not taking a lot of ice on this one.
Yeah, well, the more weight, the better. Well, okay. Maybe not trying to come to nose here. Maybe just actually playing a peel.
Yeah, I don't know if they think they can maybe
squeeze the top one out to the right. Yeah, not sure if that's going to happen. Stones are quite lively, but from our little screen here, doesn't quite look possible. She's not throwing massive weight. Let's see what she can do here. Certainly needs to make contact with the reds. It's coming very close to the guard. Definitely going to squeeze it the other way. Not horrendous, but might just prove difficult for her to score. It's line second shot though, so Japan's got to be careful not to put up a double. So, a call on the straight guard here. And if you make it, it's certainly going to make it difficult for Lennon Nelson to score. Blocking after the out turn draw path. Not quite sure if the draw is available on the intern, with the center guard being off the center line. Well, it might just be the last shot for Fujisawa in this game. If so, they'll pick up the win.
Well, ideally, I think Fujisawa would like to have this one just cutting the top of the 8-foot circle. But maybe being a little bit cautious with this one. Doesn't want to throw it down into the top of the 4-foot, as you said, Sander, and set up a double. Actually doesn't find a horrible spot there.
So looking at this one once more, I do believe the intern draws there for Lennon Nelson. Not too far off the center line, and there should be plenty of room to come into the 1 foot. But I wonder if you actually have to tap the red one ever so slightly to get shot here. Seems to just cover the pin. If you look at it at this angle, it really looks difficult, but there should be enough swing on the ice to make it. We did mention that it's maybe a bit straighter than yesterday. Maybe not. You'll probably maybe not get that finish at the end, so gotta make sure not to overthrow this one. Pretty much only have to throw top 4 weight and then let your sweepers do the rest.
Yeah, so according to the stats on Lena Nelson's draws today, she has an 83% chance of making this shot.
I've got to come close to the center guard. Don't think that's a problem. It's just kind of tick off it. And it's a steal of 1 for Japan. They will win the game 6 shots to 4. Denmark certainly had their chances, but Japan just looked the stronger team overall. Lennon Nelson did a good job of keeping the Danes in the game, but couldn't really step up here with the last shot in the 10th end to put the game into an extra. Just a bit too aggressive around the 4-foot area here. Made it difficult for herself to score. So nice win for Japan. Denmark, after that big win over China last night, they'll move to 1-1. And if you stick around, I think we'll get some of the highlights from the second half of the game. And we'll maybe pop over and see what happened between USA and Germany. They're playing the 10th end just now. And after the highlights, we'll get an interview with the winning. So looking back to the 6th end between Denmark and Japan, after a missed shot by Lennon Nelson, I believe Fujisawa a chance to score 2 with the open hit. And will make it. Big deuce in the game in the 6th end to put them in the driving seat. Skip ahead to the 10th. And Denmark's trailing by 1. Needs to find the 1 foot with her last draw here, Lena Nelson, to put the game into an extra end. Just came off a bit tight, and the sweepers just couldn't hold it. Just ticks off the guard, and it's a steal for Japan. They win the game 6 shots to 4. So you'll see just on the background here, Germany and USA shaking hands. Looks like Erica Brown was drawing to the last shot before Ship's hammer. Couldn't quite do that, and Andrea Ship didn't have to play her last shot. They won the game 6 shots to 5. I think in a few seconds we'll have a look at the standings so far. Obviously early in the week, and a lot of teams haven't played much more than 2 games. So here we are. Switzerland and Germany undefeated so far. Scotland and Sweden obviously undefeated, only playing 1 game. Scotland beat Canada yesterday, so they're at 0-1. Maple Leaf, Russia and Denmark had 1-1, and Italy and China still yet to win a game after 2. So just Japanese skip Fujisawa just making it off the ice pad. And she'll pop over to the interviewing area. And we'll see if we can get a few words from her. So again, just mentioning that it was Japan that won our featured game 6 shots to 4 over Denmark, while Andrea Ship won over USA. Certainly looking strong with 2 wins after 2 games. It'll be interesting to see if the veteran can be an outside favourite to get to the playoffs. And now I think we're pretty much ready for the interview with skip Fujisawa.
No. How are you enjoying your first World Championship experience?
世界のトップチームと、戦うことができて、でその中でもいい試合ができているので、すごく楽しんでゲームしています。
Did you have any specific strategy today against Denmark?
戦略で今日臨みましたか？
特別な戦略というよりは、いつも通りに、攻めの形をとって、アイスの読みを早く相手より取っていいショットを決めることを心がけてました。
Well done and good luck for the rest of the week. ありがとう。
今通訳をしたら、戻るからちょっとCan we do the NHK first and then I can give him a translation?
No, it's okay. Don't worry. Now we will do the NHK stuff.
Yeah.
That's fine.
So certainly a few problems with the language barrier there. Certainly looked happy though. Fujisawa, skip of Japan. Here he is. Here she is. That's us. That's it for now here on the Volvo Sports Centre, Riga, Latvia. We'll be back with plenty of more interesting games. It's still early in the week, so hope you tune in for the remainder of this year's World Curling Championship.